The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, will there be a constitutional referendum on November 6th? That is the question following last night's sitting of the House of Assembly, where members of Parliament had many different views on proposed amendments to the Constitution. Government members were among those opposing certain aspects of the amendments. It also appears as though the opposition Free National Movement has withdrawn its support of the proposed changes. There is also widespread concern about automatic citizenship being granted to foreigners married to Bahamians. Members believe there needs to be clarification on this issue. Another area of contention is with the fourth bill, which addresses adding the word sex to the Constitution to end gender discrimination. Many are concerned that this issue could turn into a debate on same-sex marriage. Marco City MP Gregory Moss and Member of Parliament for East Grand Bahama Peter Turnquest shared similar concerns about the word sex being added to the proposed amendments. The four bills in question must in each instance be approved by at least 3/4 of the members of the House of Assembly. They must also be approved by 3/4 of the members of the Senate. Following passage in the Senate, the bills must be approved by a simple majority of voters in a national referendum. Only after going through the entire process can the Constitution be altered. Well, as the debate continues on the proposed changes to the Constitution, two local clergymen are sharing their views.
I want to commend some of the members of Parliament on either side of the political divide that is now taking a stand and saying that this must be clear, number one, and number two is we are to be careful of how we go about this and making sure this is that we are representing the sentiments of our people.
Pastor of House of Prayer Ministry Ricardo Davis says while he supports the government's efforts to bring about gender equality in the Bahamas, he is concerned about some portions of the proposed amendments.
I am concerned specifically on the marital aspect of everyone conversation. We do not want to take one issue of equality for women and then confuddle it with anything else. And so I would even throw this out to those that are in authority and to our members of Parliament that listen, while we are in the process of making constitutional changes, we would like specifically the issue of marriage to be defined and clearly defined in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is marriage being between a man and a woman, a male and a female. We want it to be defined.
Pastor of United Fellowship Center Derek Forbes is also weighing in on the debate. He says, based on feedback from members of the community, there is a level of confusion as to exactly what changes are being made.
People are concerned because we have a lot of domestic violence, men taking advantage of women when it comes to domestic violence in the home. And so we should respect them. And as far as you say, some of the members, I've gotten some of the feedbacks, and people just are concerned when it also comes to the same sex, because it can create a problem in our society.
Pastor Davis believes a greater level of public consultation is needed before a referendum takes place.
There's a lot of people, when you listen to the conversation around domino tables, around backyards and barber shops, etc., you hear all kinds of different stuff. And that tells me that a lot of people are not fully informed on what we are voting for.
When the Leslie Maycock murder trial continued today, the jury selection process was completed. As Shashina Roll reports, 3 witnesses took the stand during the morning session, including his wife and son.
The prosecution opened its case advising the newly sworn-in jury that while this is a small community and they may have heard something about the case, know the victim or the co-accused to put aside any feelings as much as possible, adding that both co-accused are innocent until proven guilty and the burden of proof rests solely on the prosecution. The prosecution explained to the jurors that around 10:40 on June 15th, Leslie Maycock had just finished securing his establishment and headed to his vehicle. 10:45, he informed police that he was shot in the stomach during an armed robbery, in which the persons took his bag containing $700 to $900. He also told them that he would drive to the hospital. Minutes later, his vehicle got in an accident and he had to be transported via ambulance. The prosecution then called its first witness, Detective Constable 2764 Darren Pierre from the Criminal Records Office. He told the court that he left CDU around 11:32 p.m. on that fateful night and pointed out that there was a silver 2002 vehicle around Piners Way and East Atlantic Drive. He said he received certain information and then headed out to the Hawksbill Mini Mart, where he recovered on the scene a pair of eyeglasses, a .380 fire cartridge casing, along with some additional items. Those items, he noted, were photographed and collected. On cross-examination by attorney for Dudley Sade, Simeon Brown, the witness was asked a series of questions, including if the glass or door at the mini-mart was examined for fingerprints, to which he replied no. Under cross-examination by Osmond Johnson, attorney for Cadero Wallace, a.k.a. Cadero Miller, the witness was asked if he saw any of the defendants on the scene, and Pierre replied no. He was also asked if there was any forensic evidence or examination linking the two men to the crime scene, to which he replied no. Also taking the stand was the son of the victim, D'Angelo Carey, who told the court that he was home when he learned his father was shot at his business. He also told the court that he had to identify his father's body in the morgue. Beverly Maycock, the wife of 20 years to Leslie Maycock, also took the stand. She recalled the fateful day her husband was shot, telling the court that they had lunch early that day and that evening her husband left home to close up the business. She said she could never forget the last words her husband uttered around 10:30 that night, adding that she could never get the sound of his voice out of her mind. Mrs. Maycock said you could hear the pain and desperate cry in his voice as he said, "They shot me. I'm on my way to the hospital." The wife of the deceased told the court that as she and her children were on the way to the hospital, they noticed an accident, and it was her husband's vehicle. She further stated that while Leslie Maycock was on the ground, the officer on the scene would not allow her to see her husband, and she was instructed to go straight to the hospital to register him. Mrs. Maycock told the court that her husband had surgery and died 1 week later. Under cross-examination by Osmond Johnson, she was asked if her husband was able to give the name of the person who had shot him, and she said she never paid much attention to what he said after he told her he was shot because of her emotional state. The afternoon session continued with a number of officers who were involved in the case, including the arresting officer and the pathologist. Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Two juvenile male suspects ages 17 and 13 years hauled before the court today on an armed robbery charge. The two were arraigned before the juvenile panel in the magistrate's court on one count of armed robbery. They were not required to enter a plea and were remanded to the Simpson Penn School for Boys until September 11th for trial. The charge is in connection with a matter that was reported to the police on Saturday, August 9th. Stay with us. There's more news after this.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force holding a town meeting in the Malibu subdivision Tuesday evening to highlight the significance of community policing. Corporal Michael Miller of the Crime Management Section says while crime in that community is extremely low, it is still important to speak with residents on the prevention and detection of crime.
They were informed about communication with the police. A lot of persons are afraid of giving the police information. So we were here this evening discussing with them that the importance of us getting the information from them who live in the area. We patrol the area, but we don't live there. And so it's more or less some of their responsibility to assure that we get the information to detect, for the detection of crime in the Malo Reef area. We also discussed with them about the illegal dumping, because a lot of persons look at detection of crime or the prevention of crime as just criminal act. However, there's illegal dumping. There's also the matter of strays that are in the area.
Residents say they are happy to partner with the police and also to share their concerns.
Concern in Marble Reef really is to be aware of any criminal activities that may occur, and to be vigilant of people who are not residents of the area. Also stray dogs that may be prevalent in the area, things of that nature.
Officers attached to urban renewal were also on hand to give their input on community policing. In other news, the Public Hospitals Authority is leading the way in creating a greater awareness about HIV and AIDS. Joan Davis-Roll has the details.
A significant breakthrough in healthcare throughout the country as the Public Hospitals Authority, through its local healthcare agencies, are now equipped with the latest in HIV testing. It is an initiative designed to encourage the populace to know their HIV status. Health officials launching an awareness campaign by using public events to demonstrate the effectiveness of such a process. Among the health officials conducting the testing is registered nurse Arthur Oughton.
What we're doing here is rapid testing, which is pretty much testing for HIV or the virus in your body, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to do the test, and you pretty much get your result in the same day, as opposed to waiting a couple of days if you was to go to the lab.
Nurse Oughton assures the public that the process is confidential and, more importantly, safe.
It's very confidential. The results, there are two of us inside the room. We give the results there and there, and the persons that getting the results, they're one-to-one with us, as opposed to being in a group setting and everyone pretty much knowing your business.
HIV testing is not the only ongoing health initiative. Immunization is another vital health-related program, she says. Nurse Tiffany Seymour explains.
This is an opportunity you can use. They can come out before 5 today and have their immunizations done.
How important is immunization?
It's very important because illness is just a plane ride away. People bring all sorts of things into the country as we are a tourist destination, and the worst thing to happen is to get something that could be prevented.
Joan Davis-Roll, ZNS Network News.
A Grand Bahama student among the brightest minds in the country. Tonight, this female high school graduate is talking about a major academic achievement. She's the third student and first female on Grand Bahama to receive the Bahamas All-Merit Scholarship. 16-year-old Gabrielle Moss recently graduated from the Bishop Michael Eldon High School with a 4.4 grade point average. She says she was ecstatic when she learned that she was a scholarship recipient.
When I found out that I was the All-Merit Scholar, I was really honored. But I realized also that at the time I realized it's really going to be a responsibility. It's not just, oh, you get money to go to school. I realized that as soon as people came interviewing me, asking me advice you want to give to the young people of today, what programs, etc. But I really am just honored, to be honest.
The scholarship is valued at $140,000. Gabrielle is preparing to attend Johns Hopkins University in Maryland, where she will study applied mathematics and statistics. She wants to be an actuary, and she plans to return home to make a valuable contribution.
I'm focusing on the area of mathematics because, as I've said, with my major, that's my passion. And I've realized very often, for instance, when I tell someone, I want to do mathematics in college, they're like, you want to do math? I'm trying to get out of math. So I'm trying to come back and really rejuvenate the passion in that amongst the young people. Not just to make them think, oh, I have to pass math with GCSE to qualify for government scholarships. Because I know some people in my school, they've told me that. But really be able to really see the wonder in it.
Wendy Moss says she's proud of her daughter's accomplishment, but she's not surprised that Gabrielle was chosen because she's very focused.
But one of the things I could remember in grade 11 telling her, you know, you inspire me, when she was doing all of those things. She had Battle of the Brains, she had the nationals in terms of national arts that she had to practice 4 exams for piano, and all of those BGCSEs with coursework. And just the discipline, because sometimes I'd get up and said, it's 2 a.m., it's time to go to bed. and she would still be at it. I really admire it. So I said to her last year, you have inspired me for some of those dreams I put on hold to get back to it.
Gabrielle has this advice for other aspiring young people.
Know what you want, have faith that it'll come about, and continue pressing towards it.
Gabrielle is also the daughter of Marco City MP Gregory Moss. Don't go away, sports is up next with Ricardo Lightborn.
Hey everybody, welcome to Sports. Ricardo Lightborn. This one goes out to Davis Roker. That's right, he is celebrating 259 Roker. Way to go. Nesbitt Tents of Facility on Settlers Way, the venue for the Extreme CrossFit Challenge on the weekend, and a new champion was crowned.
Come on. Go, Robert.
The Extreme CrossFit competition was that and much, much more. Extreme. It took some doing for the competitors, but they went the distance. Young Katie Henley also competed, and she held her own. The 18-year-old young, talented lady, Katie gave the competitors much to consider. The defending ladies champion, LaShanda Wiley, took up the challenge. Well, the field of competitors was pretty good for Wiley, and she said she felt good about her chances.
This round was intense, definitely very, very challenging, but it's a good way to start it off, and I look forward to the other rounds.
Miriam Byfield in the competition again this year, and some question marks.
First round was horrible. It was okay. It's just a warm up. I'm not really that in shape. I just came here just for the fun of it to get a workout and support D'Amico.
The newcomer to the competition, DeKel Nesbitt, and boy, she did not miss a beat. This is Extreme CrossFit competition, and it's that and more.
First round, it wasn't too bad. It was kind of challenging after you got to like the third set of 5, so I had to push through to finish it.
DeKel comes from an athletic family, and it showed through the rounds and crowned a female champion. LaShanda Wiley had to settle for second place this year, and a good showing. Miriam Byfield finishing third, and it's back to the drawing board. The junior champion, Katie Henley, she had them shaking in their boots. Ashton Knowles competed and secured second place as far as the male. The men's champion, Timothy White, and Dominique Storr wrapping up third place. The Masters division was dominated by the West End boy. Robert Lewis showed the young whippersnappers a thing or two, and congrats, Robert. D'Amico Nesbitt said, well, it's a try-to event, and it was marred by weather in one.
We had a little mix-up with we were scheduled for August 3rd, and the weather had us postponed, so we had to change our date a bit, which threw some people off. But right, as far as people being interested and people getting into the sport, it is growing.
The Extreme Fit competition was a challenging one and a real test of strength and stamina. Day 4 play in the ITF Junior International Tennis Tournament under 16 down there in El Salvador completed. In the girls singles division, it was Aisha Shepard defeating Gabriela Zavala of Honduras 6-2 and 4, and she now moves on to the quarterfinals. In the consolation play, Lauren Daxon lost to Guatemala Pamela Richards 6-4 and 6-love. Shatanya Missick also losing to Emma Tristel of Trinidad and Tobago 6-3, 6-3 as well. Now our boys, as far as Justin Thompson defeated Joshua Arnold of Trinidad 7-5, 2-6 and 10-6 in the tiebreak. Ahmad Thompson also over Aldrich Koppler of U.S. Virgin Islands 6-3 as well. Now let me tell you that you had Bradley, who also lost, Flowers lost to Oscar Mares of El Salvador, and also Neil Mortimer losing to Demetria Castina of Curacao 6-3, 6-4, and 10-2 in the tiebreak. And we can tell you also from down at St. Vincent, it was Dominique Motor also losing to Gabriela Zambelli of Guyana 6-1 and 7-5. Our kids are okay. They'll get better. We all got to lose to win. Okay. Let me tell you that the Grand Island Softball Association on the diamond last night. Control Chemical Sweepers defeating the Rising Courage 8-5 in men's play. Donovan Cox got the win. The loss went to Albert Sims. The Flyers and Wolverines played a ladies match, and this one was kind of interesting. The Portside Flyers and the Candace Wolverines crossed the line in its ladies fast pitch with the good stick early in the ball game. That's a base hit to right. But the Flyers not playing smart softball, running themselves simply out of the game. Portside simply kept going at it, and the bat remained hot. This one was too hot for third baseman. You tack on an error. Next batter, right back to the pitcher, Devonna Mackey. The good glove, but throwing That's another error. Narissa Lockhart then got the ball for Portside Flyers, and the Wolverines had no pity on her. The players seeing the fastball and the base hit to show for it. Narissa needed some defense to hold on, and the second baseman making a good one here for the sure out. But Lockhart ran into control problems and uncorked the wild pitch. She also gave up a run. The next batter continued the hitting, and they took it to Narissa deep to left down the line. Scored that one a triple. Lockhart a bit ticked off and went at the good pitch here. Another one for the Wolverines. Portside then called a timeout. They tried to get back on track. It worked. Lockhart went to the money ball and got the batter to chase it. The Flyers on offense needed to get back on track offensively. The rally is on. The next batter finds a space in the Wolverines' defense. That's a base hit. Lyrica Russell in for Mackey gets the big out, and the game 6-5 a final. Some questions now for the Flyers. Well, folks, Anthony Dilly Wilshcombe, voice could be heard in the softball park, and he's really what you refer to as a sports fan. Well, his voice is now being heard in a mild tone because now he's facing some challenges. Budweiser softball team was that and more in the GBSA. When the name changed to Collect Panthers, the same team stayed together, and the number one fan, Anthony Dilly Wilshcombe. Dilly never missed a trip to Florida with the Panthers or the Kings. He was always full of life, and when you met Dilly, you knew it. After today, he's experienced some challenges health-wise, and they are life-threatening.
I have a V-card, and I have a vessel that is leaking in the back, and when I drink too much of fluid, it is overload, and my leg is swell up, my stomach is swell up, and I have to go in the hospital to get it pumped out. So that's what I'm facing right now.
Dilly says he suffers from extreme swelling and needs surgery to correct his illness.
I have to go over to the States, to Mount Sinai in Miami, and well, I done been over there a couple of weeks doing some tests, and the operation in total cost like $40,000.
And that operation will entail what, Dilly?
That entail getting my heart getting the blood to continue flow back through my body, and to fix the vessel that is leaking in the back of my heart.
A letter from Mount Sinai explains the severity of Dilly's condition.
Asking the government public, please, that if they could help me out. I have an account set up by CIBC. The account number is 22016304889, and my cell number is 646-9697. If you want to call me and ask me any other questions, or I'm here now.
Anthony Dilly Wilshcombe asking for a helping hand. Dilly just wanted to get back to being the fun-filled Dilly he was once again. Up today, who knows whose time it is tomorrow. That's a look at sports tonight.